Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Edith and I like to read books and yap about them to you guys. It's a video I've done before. I did it last year and now we're doing it again. If you saw the title, you know what today is. We are going to be reading Goodreads choice winners from 2025. Like I said, I did this at the beginning of 2025 where I read the winners from 2024. And once again, I have picked out 3 books, each one a category that I haven't read yet, and we're gonna read them together. Coming in with a very short update from a very bad angle, but I just wanted to say that I sat down once to read in this today, and I'm already 74 pages into it. I'm hoping I could get to over 100 pages before bed, because I want to read for like at least 30 minutes before I go to bed tonight. But honestly, so far, this is what I needed. I can tell this is gonna be so delicious, if that makes any sense, because it feels weird to call a book delicious, but I can sense that this is gonna be it. This is just going to be a little bit of a weird angle, but it's going to be a really quick update and then going back into reading. I just don't know if I actually updated you guys yesterday because I feel like I was so like focused on the idea of the people in the office buildings next door staring at me that I never actually like got to talking about the books. My mom's friend is currently visiting. She's not here right now, but she's going to be here again later tonight and sleeping and everything. So my mom's sleeping in here with me. Again, not currently. I just woke up, baked sourdough, and edited a little bit, which I filmed a cute little quick clip of. And now my computer needs to charge a little bit, so I was like, okay, you can either sit down somewhere while it's charging, or you can take a quick break, let it charge, and read a little bit. So that's what I'm gonna do. I am now almost 200 pages into this, and I am hoping to get longer and do it today. I am hoping to do that, but I also kind of want to watch a movie maybe at some point, and I don't want to like rush anything, but maybe, who knows, maybe I'll start reading right now and I'll be completely enthralled in it, because that is what has been happening. Anytime I sit down to read, I just completely disappear into this book, and I am loving it. That's all I really need to say for now. I'm loving it. So I thought I would film a little bit while I'm reading now. I do need to like enjoy this weekend because there's Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday I'm starting school. Anyway, let's read a little bit right now. All right, it's about time for a little bit of an update. First of all, life update. I think the last time I spoke to you guys, I had just gone to like the introduction day for school, which was Thursday, and it is now Tuesday. So I've had my first and second day of school so far, and so far I honestly have nothing bad to say. I have really enjoyed it. I've met some really nice people. Nobody that I'm like, oh my god, new best friend ever, but I feel like that doesn't have to happen, and either it happens or it doesn't. It's not something you can like force. I feel like you guys are crooked a little bit that way now. First and second day, it's been a lot of like introductions. This is what it's gonna be like. Here's a little bit of an assignment just to put you guys into some of that stuff. I have a little something I need to work on, but not honestly not something I really need to work on, but I kind of really want to work on it at some point for the rest of the day. But I just got home and it is, oh my god, this is why I love having a watch, because I can now tell you guys that it is 1:40 p.m. So far it's also been kind of early days. I mean, all the days are kind of short for like you need to be here and listen to a teacher talk short, but they're still like expecting you to stay around for like 4 hours to do work. But like those 4 hours doesn't have to be right after school. You can put 4 hours once you get home, or like you and your group can meet up at some times. And I mean, you obviously they would rather tell you to spend 4 hours a day than say 1 hour and then you accidentally spend way more than that. I feel like that's also some of it. And we've only had like a few very small assignments, and one of them we stayed a little bit behind after school today to work and film some stuff for that one. I don't even think I've said it. I'm studying multimedia design. I think it's like a sort of translation of it. It's basically every single thing with like the medias. It's, first off, we're gonna have a lot of focus on like the way everything looks. So like websites, how to code to build websites, all of that sort of stuff. But we're also gonna have a little bit about like video editing and stuff like that at some point later on. And it's 2 years split into like semesters. Yeah, 4 semesters, so 1 each or 2 each year. So first semester is from now until summertime, and then we have another one from summer to winter, and then it's year second. But it's going to be really exciting. Hopefully it's going to help me a little bit with this, but this is also going to be like a side thing, and hopefully I can use it in the future for an actual like job. Unless this obviously takes off in the middle of everything, then I obviously wouldn't want this to be my full-time job, but it could also help me get another full-time job if needed once the 2 years are over. That was a long little yap, but I feel like it's good to know what's going on in my life in these reading vlogs, because I feel like it will always like have some sort of effect on stuff. But the last time we talked, I think I was about halfway through Bury Your Bones in Midnight Soil, and then I sat down one day and I just read, and I read the last half of this book in one day. And not even like a full day of just reading. It didn't even take me that long, and I think you guys can already kind of guess where this is going. This was 100% the first 5-star read of the year. Everybody I've been talking to have been like, oh, I want more 5 stars this year. I kind of want less. I think I said it in my previous reading vlog that I'm kind of hoping to get a little bit more critical with my ratings this year, and I feel like I've really done that. And I've really been sitting on this. Trust me, I've really been sitting on this and been like, if you're gonna say it's a 5-star, it better be a goddamn 5-star. And it is a goddamn 5-star. There's no way this could be like known as anything to me other than a 5-star. I literally told you guys in an update on like page 60 something that I was loving this already, and that I was so intrigued, and that I could definitely tell that it could be a 5-star read. And like obviously you can always say that in the start of a book and then like it not turn out to be that, or you could hate or be like read the first 70 pages in a book and be like, this is so boring, and then it picks up and becomes like a 4-star read or something. This was not boring a single moment, which I think takes a lot for a like 500-page fantasy, which it's not like a normal fantasy, I feel like, where there's a war going on and we have to figure out how to fight this war. I actually don't think I've like sat you guys down and been like, this is what it's about. I'm also not going to do that fully because I feel like some of the stuff I really enjoyed was that I didn't know a lot about it, but we're following 3 different vampires through different periods of time. One is over the way back in 1532, and then one is in 1827, and one is in 2019. 3 different women who are all vampires. Can I even say that? I feel like it's not in the back of it, but I feel like it's what people are selling it by. That's what I knew. Like, the only thing I knew going into this was that it was sapphic vampires. And this was so... I feel like the word I keep thinking about is sexy. And, like, it sounds weird, but stick with me here. Every single person in this book is, first of all, sexy. Vampire stuff just tends to be sexy. I don't know what it is, okay? We've collectively, as a society, apparently decided that vampires are sexy. Apart from Nosferatu, which I haven't seen that movie, but I am aware that it's like vampire-esque and not in an attractive way. But other than that, I kind of feel like we've built this like sexy vibe around vampires, and this 100% followed up on that. I enjoyed being in every single one of these women's head, even when you kind of didn't agree with them and they were kind of... I think in my review on Fable, I put it as calling them villains at some points in the story. I don't think I would call them villains. And yet, if you looked at the story from other people's point of view, they could definitely become the villains of this entire story. And yet I loved them. I just think it takes a special kind of author to write such complex characters. That's actually where I think it comes down to. And like somehow make you root for them even when they're doing things that you're kind of like, I know this is wrong, and yet I love the fact that they're doing it. I love it. This was definitely kind of a definition of I support women's rights and I support women's wrongs. Because I loved every single one of these women. Even now, looking back at it, I loved every single one of these women. But god fucking damn it, did I also love the side characters. Every single one that was introduced, I was like, oh, you're so cool. And like, they were so different in their own ways. Yeah. This is honestly, and it's gonna sound so weird because it's like, oh, I could use more articulated word, or I could use more smart people words. But see, I'm not like a literary mastermind or anything. So in my brain, the best words to describe this book is like cool and sexy. Yeah. I honestly think we're gonna keep it at that. I have nothing bad to say about this book. I was entertained all the way through. Not even just entertained, I was like sucked into it. I'm also so happy my mom told me to read this, because if you didn't know, I was actually planning on reading Not Quite Dead Yet first. And then I asked my mom between these two because I knew I didn't want to read nonfiction. And she was like, well, you just read kind of a shorter book, so why don't you start with a thicker book? And I will be forever grateful for that, because yeah, who knows how much this would have hit if I'd read it right now instead of finishing it right before going back to school. That is what I did. I finished this Sunday. And then Sunday evening, moving on from that, we started Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. And now, Tuesday, we're on page 78. I just read some this morning going to school. I didn't read anything going home from school. I do need to get back into the routine of like sitting down on the bus, taking out the book, and reading. But I didn't do that. First of all, I love how floppy this book is. Oh, I love it. Before I get into my thoughts so far, let's actually just quickly talk about what this is about. We meet Jet, who's 27? Yeah, 27, and she's back living with her parents. Halloween night, she comes home early, and someone attacks her and hits her over the head, trying to kill her. Actually, not even like, oh, hurt her and stuff accidentally happened. No, this person tried to murder Jet. And they kind of succeeded, but also didn't. She wakes up in the hospital and the doctor's like, so you got 2 choices. We can either operate, which has like a huge chance of you dying. Like we're talking a 10% chance of you surviving this procedure. And Jet is already like, I have so many odds against me. I have this kind of kidney disease that there was only 50% chance I was gonna get, I got it, and everything. So instead, she decides to go with this second option, which is not getting the operation and knowing that she doesn't have any more than a week before she's going to die. In her brain, the choice was kind of like die now or die in 7 days, and she chose die in 7 days. So Jet is now running around knowing that she doesn't have more than 7 days left of her life, and she's going to spend these 7 days finally doing something because she's going to solve her own murder. Yeah. I can just tell this is going to be so interesting. I love Holly Jackson. She did kind of pull me in, to be frankly honest with you guys. I mean, I did kind of do it dirty because I started this the same night that I finished this in the afternoon and then started this right before bed. So kind of disservice to this, but like the part I read yesterday and then this morning definitely got me more and more interested. I low-key almost cried last night because I mean, at some points it's like not sad because Jet is such like low-key a funny character to be in the head of. Like she's not that I would want to be in her head because she is literally about to be dead from brain damage. But that wasn't what I meant. But she makes jokes like that. Like she would totally make a joke about like, you don't want to be in my head because I'm dying. And everybody else doesn't find it funny. I mean, her mom is like acting a little bit psychotic, which I get, you know, her daughter's literally dying. But I feel like those are kind of my thoughts so far, low-key, is that like I was a little bit scared it was just going to be depressing because it's like we're following this woman who knows she's going to die, and like her family knows she's going to die, her friends know she's going to die, and somehow so far it has been sad. Like I said, I cried, but I do feel like because it's in Jet's point of view and she likes to kind of try and make it a little bit more funny, I do think that could be like speak well for the book. I have heard amazing things about this. I was in a book club that read it once a few months ago and I didn't get to it because I didn't have the money to buy it. And they all kind of really loved this, and obviously it won Goodreads Choice Awards, so it can't be that bad. But I'm not going to be reading right now. That's for goddamn sure. I am home alone, which is why I'm updating you guys now. I know. I need to get used to filming while she's sitting in the living room, but I'm home alone and I thought now would be a perfect time to finish up my thoughts on this one. And that I did. I've been speaking for 16 goddamn minutes. So I'm going to get into my comfy clothes, aka my big t-shirt, get in bed with my computer, relax. We'll read some more tonight before going to bed, maybe a little bit later in the afternoon, and we will see how it goes. It has in fact been a few days. I actually could not tell you guys the last time I updated you. I did just get started on editing the video, but doesn't mean I remember the last moment I talked to you guys, but I know that since we last talked, I finished Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. And we landed on a 4-star. I really enjoyed this. Did I sob my fucking eyes out at the end of it? Yeah, I definitely did. I also got a little bit pissed about one thing, but it's fine because it's not the book's fault, it's solely my own fault. To get into it, first of all, I was pretty convinced from like page 50 something that I knew who did it. And when I tell you convinced, I was 100% convinced that I was right. And unfortunately, I feel like that had a big effect on like how I enjoyed the book throughout it, but looking back at the book, knowing what I know now, is kind of what I based my rating on. Because I was wrong. In case you guys were wondering if like I'm angry because I knew it. No, I'm angry because at myself. Because I thought I knew it, I was so secure in it, and I kept thinking, oh my god, this is like, move on, I know who it is, so like I don't need all of this disposition. And then I was wrong, and I was like, oh. So I'm mad at myself because I feel like I kind of ruined it for myself by locking into one person so early on in the book. And like every single scene I would be like, nope, but see, that means that it's this guy or this girl or this, whatever. And when I was in wrong, I was shocked. Yeah, I was shocked. Just because I've been so secure in it, but then I got mad at myself, like I said, because I feel like it impacted my reading way too much that I was so secure in it. Because like I said, I kept thinking like, all right, come on, I get it. It's totally this person, just move on. And then it wasn't. And now looking back at it, I was like, God, I would have loved this. Like, I kind of feel like that's why I gave it 4 stars, because I was like, I feel like this book deserves a 4 stars. Like if I read this again and didn't go through the entire book thinking I knew who did it so confidently, it would have been like a 100% 4 stars. I was about to give it a 3.75, but then I was like, I feel like it's unfair to rate a book because you ruined it for yourself. But then again, I mean, maybe it is the book's problem. Maybe I'm not the only one who thought I knew who it was and who felt like it kind of ruined it. So I had a little bit of a hard time rating this one, but I do feel like it was a 4 stars. I love Holly Jackson's writing still. Like I said, cried at the end of this, but I also laughed so many times through this book. I feel like I already kind of came in on all of these points that like, yeah, it was kind of depressing, but she had a good way of making it funny at the same time. I really enjoyed the female main character. I think this book could have been so differently if it wasn't this specific female main character. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I'm just gonna leave it at that. There's not that much else for me to say. It was quick, it was easy to read. I would 100% recommend this if you're wanting to get into like mystery thrillers, but you're not into the YA, like high school age people. I would recommend this one. And then, since we last talked, obviously, I also started Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green, which I'm now holding up an empty dust jacket, but I do have the hardcover right here. You guys can tell there is a bookmark in there. I'm only 20 pages into it. I only started it yesterday, but I did almost cry yesterday in the bus because there is a picture right here of the kid. I don't even know if we follow this kid throughout the book or what we do. I mean, I get the fact that it's nonfiction, so it's not gonna be like he's the main character kind of thing. Yeah. In Everything is Tuberculosis, John tells Henry's story, woven through the scientific and social histories of how tuberculosis has shaped our world and how our choices will shape the future of tuberculosis. So, the kid I just showed you guys a picture of has tuberculosis, I'm scared that he might be dead. So, I am really intrigued into this one. I do think it's going to be kind of a quick read. It's less than 200 pages. It's a tiny little hardback, and the words are kind of big, and there's a few pictures here and there. I am planning to get a lot of reading done today. I'm planning on getting a lot of reading and a lot of editing done. I would kind of love to finish this video off this weekend, which would require me to finish this book either today or very early tomorrow, so that way I can edit the video tomorrow. I have one very little homework assignment, and that's it. Oh yeah, this does also mean that we have gone through my first week of school in this video. I'm not gonna talk too much about it, but I had a great first week of school. We had a little bit of a Friday cafe, bar, whatever you want to call it, yesterday. It was very fun. I did leave a little bit early with a bunch of the other girls, but I had a really fun time being there. I feel like I've met some really nice people, and I feel like I am so excited to get back into like the school thing. If you guys are interested in any school related things, I will 100% do like a week in my life. Obviously I won't be like vlogging classes and stuff like that, but like showing you guys my new routines that's coming with the school and studying and all of that sort of stuff. So if you're interested in that, it's obviously gonna take up a lot of my time. So I would love to be able to like integrate it into this channel. So be prepared for some studying stuff. Not sure what exactly, but I'll figure that out along the way. For now, let's get back into reading. So it is in fact the next day, and I did end up staying up last night until 11 p.m. just to finish this book. I will say the first half, which is why I was kind of surprised that I ended up finishing it last night, the first half read a little bit textbooky, which makes sense. You have to learn about it before you can like move on to like the more emotional story-wise of this plot. The emotional story part of it though had me sobbing last night right before bed, and I'm not gonna rate it because it's nonfiction. I don't like to rate nonfiction, but do I think it deserved the award? Probably. I mean, I haven't read any of the other nonfiction it was up against, but if I like compare it to other nonfiction books I've ever read, I would definitely say that this is one of the better ones I've read. And I 100% think you guys should read it. The guy, Henry Follows, is actually still alive today. Has a YouTube channel, which I might link it somewhere or just like write the text there if any of you guys are interested in checking out his videos. It was very touching, and I think it was a great commentary on universal healthcare and how fucked up the system kind of is when it comes to stuff like that. So with that said, that does conclude this video. We found my first 5-star of the year in this video. I read yet another book outside of my comfort zone, which means I am almost done with one of my yearly reading goals, which was to read 5 books outside of my comfort zone, and I'm now at 4. But if I were to say if I think these deserved to win, I would say Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil 100,000% deserved it. Not quite dead yet. I honestly don't remember what it was up against. I think I might have voted for another book than this one, but I do think it deserved it. And Everything is Tuberculosis 100% deserved it. So with that said, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your bell notifications so you get notified every single time I post a new video, which will not be every single Saturday anymore. It will just be whenever I have a good video that I'm proud of and that I want to put out there. But do stay around because I have a lot of great ideas for the rest of the year. And with that said, I will see you all in the next one.